in the last session, we said that, and often in life, we go through this Eureka moment. What is the Eureka moment? It's a brilliant moment in our life. This moment, we realize that suddenly this intense realization comes in our life that this is not the life we want. This is not the life we want, because what we are getting from life is not something that we desire. And that realization is a very important realization in the path to spiritual progress. So
But
greater.
generally, sorry to interject.
हाँ बोलो.
Generally, it doesn't happen for a very, very long time.
Absolutely.
आपको पता ही नहीं चलता कि क्या हो रहा है, कैसे चल रहा है, because you are so lost in day-to-day जुगाड़.
Yes, absolutely correct. And this doesn't happen, and this is a lifetime's work, actually multiple lifetimes work, not just one lifetime. It's, the soul goes through multiple lifetimes, goes through various blows in lives, and at some point, in some life, this realization happens. You're absolutely correct. So greater this intensity that this is not the life I want, what happens? Greater is the conviction that I must get into this spiritual path headlong. I must pursue the spiritual path with tremendous amount of intensity. So Swami Vivekananda says, religion begins with a tremendous dissatisfaction with the present state of things, with our lives, and a hatred, an intense hatred for this patching up of life, and unbounded disgust for fraud and lies. So as Harpreet you said, so ये जो हमारा जो fraud and lies की जिंदगी हमको पता नहीं चलता है. We keep kind of, keep living that life, but unless we kind of get the blows, we don't understand. So in the last session, we spoke about the analogy of insects. How do insects travel? Insects travel in a straight line. Till the time they meet an obstruction, they suddenly alerted, and they wait and they pause. And this is exactly what happens to the human being. What happens to the human being? Till the time a human being reaches a position of helplessness, surrender doesn't come. What happens? So the mind only starts to question things when things go wrong in a person's life. What happens? In the happiness situations, when everything is okay, when everything is hunky-dory, we don't question things. We actually forget things. We only start questioning things when things go wrong. Because when things go wrong, when you face dejection in life, the mind becomes thoughtful. And from the thoughtfulness, what happens? Harry, what happens?
I mean, you start kind of looking out of this day-to-day life.
Yes. From the thoughtfulness, what happens? You start seeking. The seeking happens. You start looking for something which is more permanent. You're looking for something which is more enduring. Now, but this Eureka moment, this seeking doesn't happen unless the blows come. And the seeking doesn't happen till the rational side of our mind breaks down. The rational side of our mind breaks down. What happened to Arjuna in the Battle of Kurukshetra? Arjuna's rational side was completely crushed. And that's the time Arjuna actually decided to surrender to Lord Krishna. And that's the whole, Lord Krishna's spiritual message to Arjuna is to basically get him to surrender, is to basically break down his rational side. Now, in the last session, we also spoke about what happened to Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda had tremendous faith in Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda's guru was Sri Ramakrishna. Vivekananda loved him, but he also kept on challenging him because the rational side of Swamiji, his Western education, had not been broken. So he kept on saying that the mother who's there in Dakshineshwar temple, Ma Bhavatarini, wo to kaat ka putli hai. That was his logic, because he was evaluating everything from a logical perspective. Till the time he went through intense suffering and intense challenges in his life. At that point of time, when his father expired and he didn't have anything to eat for days on end, he didn't have food. For the sake of his family, he sacrificed food. All the people who used to do chaprasi to his father was a great lawyer in Calcutta, they did not even offer him a job. So he was jobless. He didn't have money. He had to kind of get out of his house his father had built. At that point of time, Vivekananda goes to Sri Ramakrishna and tells him, why don't you pray to your mother to give me food, to give my family the basic subsistence? At that point of time, Sri Ramakrishna said, why should I? You don't regard Mother Kali, so why should I pray for you? Go and pray to Mother Kali. And when he prostrates himself in front of Mother Kali, what does he end up saying? That's a point of time he realizes complete surrender comes to him. And he could not ask for wealth. He asked, मुझे वैराग्य दीजिए, मुझे ज्ञान दीजिए, विश्वास दीजिए, मेरे को भक्ति दीजिए. And he comes out. So what happened to Swami Vivekananda? He experienced that utter helplessness in his life. And that point of time, he actually sought help. He sought help from the divine. He sought help from Sri Krishna. So when this ego is pulverized, crushed, completely burnt away, only then the Lord intervenes. So in the last session, we spoke about what Sri Ramakrishna said. In Bengali, he says, Ami morile ghuchibe janjal. Matlab, जब तक हमारा अहम नहीं जाएगा, जब मैं जब हमारा एकदम नाश हो जाएगा, तभी हमारा सारा समस्या का समाधान होगा. उसके 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 पहले कोई भी प्रॉब्लम्स हमारे जिंदगी से नहीं जाएगा. टिल द टाइम सरेंडर हैपेंस, टिल द टाइम वी कैन कंप्लीटली सरेंडर एट द फीट ऑफ द लॉर्ड, our problems will not dissipate. We will continue to suffer and we will go through those phases. Happiness, misery. So Sri Ramakrishna is saying, mukti hobe kobe, ami jabo jobe. Mukti kab hoga? Main jayega jab. So he also said in the multiple times in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we find the water of grace cannot accumulate in the high ground of arrogance. Whichever mind has arrogance, whichever mind has higher, the greater levels of aham, which means the ego, that mind cannot experience surrender. That mind cannot devote itself to the pursuit of spiritual practice. And as we said in the beginning, this happens through multiple lifetimes. We go through various processes, various jolts in our lives, happiness, misery. We go through all the episodes of our lives. Slowly, the mind starts realizing that this is it. At a point of time, we realize, enough. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to take responsibility of my life. My responsibility of my life is in the hands of somebody else, which is the greater power. So in the Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna says, it's a beautiful analogy. He says that when a baby is playing with the toys, the mother is relieved. Mother doesn't come and help the baby. The mother is in the kitchen. But only at the point of time when the baby leaves his toys and says, Mother, I want help. That's the point of time the mother leaves everything in the kitchen and comes to help the baby. This is the tremendous analogy that is relevant for all of us. Till the time we are enjoying the play of the world, we will not be able to develop the spirit of surrender. The knowledge dawns at that point of time. What is the knowledge that dawns at that point of time? This tremendous knowledge, this knowledge that can alleviate all the sufferings of our lives. And what is that knowledge? What is that knowledge? Anybody? That knowledge one thing,
surrender and realization.
Yeah, what is the knowledge? What is the knowledge about surrender? Surrender means what? What is that knowledge? What is that?
There is some divine power which is driving the world.
Absolutely.
And we should agree to the will of the God.
Absolutely. Ishwar karta, ham akarta. Ishwar karta, this is highest realization of bhakti, highest realization of gyan. That if this happens in our lives, what will happen? That we will be able to go beyond sorrow and suffering. So unless, and this is very difficult to realize, this realization doesn't happen till the ego is there. Unless we have a spiritual evolution, unless we evolve from the spiritual point of view, we are not able to get this realization. And that is a fact. It's cast in stone. It cannot be debated. It is cast in stone. It's a spiritual science.
But, so one point in between.
Yes.
Like even if you whatever is happening in your life day in and day out, ups and downs, pluses and minuses, joys and sorrows.
Yeah.
As you said, and as many other learned people would have said,
that
it's all happening with the grace of God or will of God.
Yes.
Right. So you kind of surrender to it. But on a practical note, if you start surrendering everything to what is happening in your life, you kind of become a what to call a point of mockery of the word. For everything you say, ये तो भगवान का मर्जी हो गया, ये तो भगवान का मर्जी हो गया.
Correct.
ये तो if God has, if I have failed, it is the will of the God. If I have passed, it is the will of the God. I don't know how to put it across.
Yes.
But maybe if you can enlighten us more.
It is a very valid question, because the moment we talk about surrender, it is prone to thousands of misinterpretation.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, probably.
The surrender means a person who is able to surrender. First of all, surrender will happen only when the ego is completely crushed and pulverized. Okay. When there is that till that point, surrender will not happen. And when that surrender happens, that particular person is even more aware of his responsibilities to his society, to his community, towards his family, which means that it's very difficult to make anybody understand this, because the more a person surrenders, more a person understands what's his responsibility, which means the more, but his inner environment never gets vitiated or never gets tormented, because there is tremendous peace, tremendous fulfillment, self-fulfillment, which comes from surrender.